Cookup. Hey, you, right there. Y'all see it. Watch this video to the end, boy.
Y'all, Dennis here, back with another video. Y'all already know what the lick read. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and hit that notification button. It's greatly appreciated, of course. By the time this video come out, it will be Christmas Eve tomorrow. And I thought I would give you guys a Christmas story. You know what I'm saying? So just for everybody that observes Christmas or even celebrate the holiday or you don't, this one is dedicated to you guys. I thought I would share one of my fondest moments around the holidays that warms my heart, so to speak. You know what I mean? One thing about the holidays, you know, we don't expect anything, at least for myself. I don't really like to expect things. I'm not even big on surprises. As a matter of fact, I don't like surprises. I would much rather celebrate mine all year round, not just defined all in one day. You know what I'm saying? And I got my own views on that, but we'll save that for another time. But for right now, I just want to share some holiday cheer by telling you one of my favorite Christmas stories. I'm going to tell y'all about one of my fondest holiday memories, and it goes a little something like this. Now, at the time, I wasn't doing no content creating, but I was doing music at the time, and this is definitely not music related. So the year was 2006 to be exact. I was working at a truck stop at the time, and I'm gonna be honest, like, they didn't pay. The pay was lousy, but I enjoyed working there. This was my favorite job. This probably was one of my favorite jobs I ever had. I had just recently got a raise, and I just recently got a promotion at the same time. I was a supervisor, truck stop. Shouts out to Trucker Matt, which is Iowa 80 Group. Shouts out to y'all. Shouts out to Dale. Shouts out to my boy Dale and all the boys that used to work there. Shouts out to my sister Crystal. That's why my homegirl, this is my homie. She like my sister to this day, and that's how our journey begins at Trucker Matt, which I'll talk about in another story. Matter of fact, I might even have Crystal on that episode when we talk about that. But I was working at this truck stop at the time, and one day on a break, I decided to go get something to eat. And upon doing that, I was walking around. There was a lot of stores like Circuit City and a lot of different stores like that. So I went up in Circuit City. I used to always go in there, check out the latest, greatest music, see what type of CDs I was gonna buy, all that good stuff. So I would go in there just to pass time, and I bumped into an old friend of mine from middle school. I was genuinely happy to see him because I ain't seen him since middle school. So we ended up chopping it up, catching it up a little bit. So I told him, I said, man, you stay around here? He said, yeah. So he told me where he stayed at, gave me his address, and I told him I'd stop by after work, you know, just do a little catching up. I ain't seen my boy in a minute. So upon doing that, get off work, shoot over there, he stay in the area. And this was the first time I got a chance to meet his family. Now, when we was in middle school, I only met his brother. After work, I go over his crib, so I get a chance to meet the rest of his family. I met his mom, I met a couple of his other siblings, and there was some little kids there. I'm assuming those were his nieces and nephews because he didn't have any kids. So long story short, so we get to catching up. I'm meeting the family and talking to moms and talking to his sister, talking to his brother. I gotta say, man, this family was full of love. Like, I ain't been around a tight-knit family in years at that time because, as y'all know, you know, families ain't family, these days no more. I don't know. There's some families out here that's separated, broken up. You know, sometimes, you know, when the backbone of the family goes, the family just go their separate ways. So it was just refreshing to see a family that was tight-knit because we grew up in a household when my grandmother was alive. She believed in all her kids being under the same roof, including the grandkids, so forth and so forth. It kind of reminded me of those times again when I was a kid growing up in Robbins. It filled my heart with joy to see that. So I got a chance to chopping it up, playing with the kids. We get to catching up, exchanging war stories, talking about life, what we've been doing. At that point, I noticed that we go in the living room. I noticed that one of his nephews, he wanted a video game. That's all he kept asking about. They were just talking about, you know, what's going under the tree or why we don't have this. So I picked up on that real quick. That kind of stuck with me. Now, back in the day, they was a family that was kind of like one of those families that were, I want to say, not poor, but less fortunate. You know what I mean? They didn't have much, but they was full of love. And that did something to me at that time. And I was like, you know what? I just felt so comfortable being around all that love. It was very contagious. But at the same time, I said, you know what? I want to do something cool for somebody. Now my grandmother, I mentioned a few seconds ago, she taught me how to give than to receive. For those of you OGs out there and y'all watch the Mud docu-series, y'all know that I dedicated that whole series to my grandmother. And first episode, I talked about how she used to give to the poor. With all these health issues and all, she would faithfully put on a pot of something, make some comfort food, and go off to the church to feed the homeless. And she would do this religiously every single week. At that time, my culinary skills wasn't there yet. I mean, I could cook a little bit, but it wasn't on my heart to cook for anyone at that time. So what I decided to do is I wanted to be a blessing to them in some type of way. So what I decided to do, and I wasn't making much money at that time, you know what I mean? I was making a little bit of money, but I wasn't making that much money. I just had a daughter. My Christmas shopping for her was already out the way at that time. And I had a couple dollars left, and I decided that I had bought some gifts for myself, and I had a few dollars left. So what I decided to do, well, let me do something for a family I want to give to them. I didn't tell them anything, but I came through with some gifts. One of the nephews that was there, a little kid, he had to been about maybe 7 or 8 years old, probably around my son's age now. He was talking about this video game. He said, oh, I want an Xbox. I want an Xbox. At the time, I had a video game, and I was getting ready to buy me a new Xbox. That's when it clicked. So what I decided to do, I went off to the store, and I bought a brand new Xbox, bought some toys, a few things here and there. Up until Christmas, I would just buy a little bit here, a little bit there, till I had enough for everybody. Christmas time comes around. I do my thing with my family, and we do our one too. Every Christmas, we would do our own thing in my house, and then we would go to my mother's house, and then we would all open gifts there and do all of that. So being somewhat in the area, I left my family at my mother's house, and I went off into the town over to slide with my homeboy's house to deliver these gifts, which they didn't know about. And no, I'm not doing this for bragging rights. I'm not here to even exploit my man's or his family or anything. Trust me, this was he has one of the most beautiful families I ever seen or ever known. I just thought it was the coolest thing to do. So I go over there, they serving Christmas dinner, and I see everybody gathered around. So I come in just like a random visit. I kept the gifts in the car, and I walk in, they all eating dinner, and I'm seeing the kids and slapping high fives. Mom dudes offered me a plate. I had already ate, so I was just telling them, I was in the area, and I thought I just wanted to spread some holiday cheer, wish everybody a Merry Christmas and things like that. So we get to chopping it up. So I said, I'll be right back. I left something in the car. I go to the trunk, go get the Santa bag, come on in there. And I said, yeah, I had some stuff left over I wanted to give you guys. I told them it was some old clothes and some shoes for everybody. And just off that alone, without even looking in the bag, they were so happy. They just thought I was donating some clothes and stuff for everybody and things like that, because they needed shoes and stuff like that. What they found clothes, they found shoes, they found toys, and then the big kaboom, my main man, nephew, going back to nephew, I said, you said you wanted a game, and I gave him my game. I bought myself an Xbox that year. I gave him my game. I had bought some games with it and everything. So I gave him the whole system, gave him controllers, and that was like the biggest thing ever. Like, I saw the faces being so grateful. I shedding a few tears, and they embraced me. It was such the coolest thing in the world. And that was the first year I felt like the act of giving. That was the first time the second time, I'm gonna take that back. The second time I realized what the holidays was all about. And it was all about giving instead of receiving. And I've never been the one that liked to receive things. I'm uncomfortable receiving gifts even to this day. And to do something for a family was not only just a testament to my grandmother, but I literally thought about it and was like, what would my grandmother, how can I do something for somebody, and how can I give back when I don't have much? You know what I mean? So instead, I gave my gifts, and I spent my money on making a Christmas for another family. And not to mention that, shout out to my coworkers, by the way. They donated toys as well, and I was telling them the story back at work. So we all came together, and we ended up giving this family a Christmas. I'm sure that they will never forget to this day, because they didn't see it coming. Just to see the joy on those kids' faces, just seeing the excitement, you know what I mean, just made it all worthwhile. Because, you do have a lot of kids that's, and I'm gonna keep it real, like ungrateful and not being thankful for what they have, like the clothes on their backs, the roof over their head, food in their bellies, and things like that. And sometimes we take the small things for granted until you see somebody without. And just having that sense of compassion for your fellow neighbor, for your fellow man. That was one Christmas at the top of my list that I would never forget. And I'm not doing this for bragging rights, but I'm just saying this to say, when you move by something and you do it, that ain't nothing but God. I don't take no credit for that. It was nothing but God and what was instilled in me from my grandmother. I figured out very quickly how I could find my way and how to find my place I'm saying it all wrong, forgive me. But I figured out a way to give in my own way. I wasn't the best cook in the world. I wasn't the type of person that'd get a soup pot full of beans and comfort food and go out and give it to the homeless. No, I wasn't that type of person at that time, but I knew I could give in my own way. And I was just so moved by doing it. And I could tell you that it was nothing but God, not even getting too religious or getting too spiritual with it, but it was nothing but God leading me to do that. You know what I mean? Like, and just keep in mind, like, I'm just working the average 9 to 5. I got my own family now. And, I can say I was blessed. I mean, I was doing okay for myself, but that was one Christmas that I would never forget, that warms my heart to this day, even talking about it. And like I said, I'm not doing this for no brownie points. And I did a lot of other cool stuff along the way, but that was one Christmas that I would never forget. To this day, I smile about it. That's why I just took that pause, because I'm just thinking about that moment, just trying to put myself in that moment again. So that was one holiday story that I want to share with y'all. I just want to leave y'all with, and I know this kind of sounds generic and cliche, but really the holidays is about giving. You know what I mean? We all receive presents and things like that, but it's not really about that. It's not about the materialistic stuff. But it's about giving. You can tell this Christmas story and all that good stuff, and that's fine. That's for you guys to tell. But at the end of the day, when it comes to these holidays, whether you consider it man-made or whatever your beliefs are, that's fine. But nothing beats helping your fellow man and putting a smile on somebody's face. And that's what I want to leave with y'all. Not a long story, but you get the point. Make sure you like and subscribe. Do something for somebody today. What I want y'all to do for me for Christmas, besides like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and running these numbers up, and let me get that watch time up so I can go ahead and start this YouTube partnership program. Outside of that, what I really want y'all to do is do something for somebody. Do something for somebody that you don't know. Do something for somebody that need it and need. Do something for somebody that, I don't care who it is. If God leads you to doing something for somebody, I want y'all to do it. That's what I want y'all to do for Christmas or the holidays, whatever you call this holiday. Do something for somebody. Now, me, myself, I like to give anyway, so I don't like to just define everything because it's just one day and all the festivities. But do this all year round or whenever you're led to. And that's what I call a genuine person. And for me, that's when I knew then, like, the true meaning of the holidays. Like, for real, for real. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and hit that notification button. Really appreciate it. And as always, keep God first, stay sucker free, and by all means get to the money. Peace and love. Stay healthy. I'm out. Just enjoy. Happy holidays.